Here's an expanded version of Part 1, with the requested specifications. The endless black of space stretched out like a silent canvas, punctuated by distant starlight and the soft hum of the research station's environmental systems. Dr. Una Parks' fingers danced across holographic displays, tracking routine sensor sweeps that had become as familiar as breathing during her 6-month deep space mission. Suddenly, a sharp ping broke the monotonous silence. Something was approaching, something that didn't match any standard navigation profile. The station's quantum scanners flickered, struggling to process the incoming anomaly. Una leaned closer, her reflection ghosting against the transparent display. A damaged transport pod tumbled through the void, spinning erratically and leaving a faint trail of ionized particles. Its metallic surface was scarred with impact marks, evidence of a violent encounter that defied immediate explanation. Micrometeorite impacts, space debris, a brutal encounter with unknown space predators. "June, get me a full-spectrum analysis," Una called to her assistant, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The pod's exterior was unlike anything in their xenobiological database. Its material composition seemed to shift subtly, almost like living membrane rather than traditional spacecraft construction. Organic technology far beyond human current understanding. As the pod drifted closer, emergency beacon signals began transmitting, a desperate, fragmented communication in a language no translation matrix could fully decode. Fragments of emotional distress filtered through, fear, desperation, a final plea for survival. Una's hands moved with practiced precision. Emergency quarantine protocols activated. Radiation shields, pressure equalization systems, biological containment fields. Each mechanism designed to protect both the potential life inside and the research station's delicate ecosystem. The pod's outer shell began to dissolve, revealing a complex internal structure that seemed to breathe and pulse with an otherworldly rhythm. At its center, something moved, something small, something alive. A creature no larger than a human infant lay suspended in a crystalline fluid, its skin a mesmerizing pattern of blue and green bioluminescent cells. Multiple small appendages, not quite arms, not quite tentacles, curled protectively around its core body. Its respiratory system was utterly alien, multiple small membranes that expanded and contracted in a complex, synchronized dance. Vital signs were catastrophically low. Whatever journey this creature had endured had pushed it to the absolute limits of survival. Most research teams would have initiated immediate quarantine and scientific analysis. Most would have treated this as a specimen, a potential breakthrough in xenobiological research. But Una Park was different. Where others saw data points and research opportunities, she saw a living being, a child, vulnerable, alone, fighting for survival against impossible odds. The station's medical bay transformed into a high-tech sanctuary, custom nano-interfaces constructed, experimental cellular regeneration protocols prepared. Every human medical innovation that could potentially bridge the impossible gap between two radically different biological systems was assembled with desperate hope. Outside the medical bay, advanced robotic assistants stood ready. Precision machines capable of manipulating microscopic environments with near-magical accuracy. Quantum-linked medical droids that could interpret the most complex biological signals. But it was Una's human intuition, that inexplicable combination of compassion, innovation, and raw determination that would ultimately make the difference. The alien child's bioluminescent skin pulsed weakly. Each pulse a countdown. Each moment a battle between life and the cold, unforgiving vacuum of space. Una took a deep breath. Her hands, steady as a surgeon's, began the most important work of her career. Not just a medical procedure, not just a scientific breakthrough, a rescue, a promise of hope, a declaration that in this vast, often brutal universe, humanity represented something more than cold calculation, something more than scientific ambition, compassion, connection, the unwavering belief that every life, no matter how alien, deserved a chance. The medical bay hummed with potential. The universe watched and waited. End of Part 1. Would you like me to continue with the next part or make any adjustments to this section? The medical bay transformed into a battlefield of survival. Holographic displays flickered with impossible biological readings, each data point a cryptic puzzle challenging human medical understanding. June Kim watched in absolute amazement as Dr. Yuna Park worked. Her movements were calculated yet passionate, hands dancing across advanced medical interfaces that seemed to bend reality itself. The alien child's internal systems were collapsing like a fragile crystal structure under immense pressure. Standard protocols are useless, Yuna muttered, her eyes reflecting complex molecular simulations. We're completely off script here. The creature's cellular structure defied everything medical science understood. Its DNA, if you could even call it that, was a complex three-dimensional lattice that morphed and reconfigured faster than quantum computers could track. Traditional medical nanobots designed for human treatment dissolved instantly upon contact, unable to comprehend the alien biochemistry. Robotic medical assistants stood frozen, their advanced algorithms overwhelmed. But Yuna wasn't deterred. She began constructing custom nano-interfaces, each designed through split-second intuitive leaps that blended medical knowledge with pure human creativity. A massive holographic display showed the alien's internal landscape. Spiral-like organic networks pulsed with energy, some systems critically damaged, others showing extraordinary resilience. Each biological pathway was like an undiscovered language waiting to be understood. "We need a bridge," Yuna explained to June, her voice calm despite the high-stakes scenario. "Not just medical treatment, a complete biological translation." Advanced cooling systems worked overtime, managing the extreme thermal variations required for the experimental treatment. The medical bay felt like a spacecraft preparing for an impossible interstellar journey, which in many ways it was. Specialized quantum-linked medical droids began assisting, their precision mechanisms synchronized with Yuna's instructions. They moved with an almost dance-like fluidity, manipulating microscopic environments with technology that bordered on magic. Hours passed. The alien child's bioluminescent skin shifted between deep azure and pale green, each color change a complex communication of its internal struggle. Its multiple small appendages, neither arms nor tentacles, occasionally twitched, suggesting a profound will to survive. June monitored external systems, watching as diplomatic channels began lighting up. News of this extraordinary medical intervention was spreading across research networks faster than light itself. "Incredible," he whispered, tracking the experimental treatment's progression. "We're literally rewriting medical understanding in real time." Yuna's approach wasn't just about saving a life. It was a declaration of human potential. Where most would have considered the alien child a lost cause, she saw an opportunity to expand the boundaries of medical science. Specialized nutrient solutions, a blend of synthetic and organic compounds, were carefully introduced. Each drop was a carefully calculated communication, attempting to speak the alien's complex biological language. The medical bay's environmental controls shifted continuously. Temperature, atmospheric composition. Quantum field generators created microenvironments that mimicked potential planetary conditions where this species might have originated. Robotic assistants worked alongside human intuition, their cold computational power complemented by Yuna's warm, determined human spirit. It was a symphony of technology and compassion, playing out in microscopic scales. Suddenly a breakthrough. The alien child's cellular structures began stabilizing, not just surviving but actually responding to the experimental treatment. Its bioluminescent patterns started displaying more consistent rhythms, suggesting active, healing processes. June could barely contain his excitement. "It's working," he said, his voice a mixture of scientific wonder and pure human emotion. Yuna remained focused, her expression a perfect blend of professional concentration and deep emotional investment. This wasn't just a medical procedure. This was a moment of potential first contact, a bridge between species separated by unimaginable biological differences. The medical bay continued its quiet, intense work. Outside, stars continued their eternal dance, silent witnesses to this extraordinary moment of human potential. End of part 2. Would you like me to proceed with the next part, or make any modifications to this section? The research station's communication arrays erupted with a cacophony of alien transmissions. Holographic displays flickered, with dozens of diplomatic vessels surrounding their small human outpost, each representing a different galactic civilization with its own agenda. Una stood at the central command deck, her posture calm but electric with determination. June watched as massive alien spacecraft, some crystalline, others resembling living organic structures, positioned themselves like predators circling prey. The first transmission came from the Kylerian Confederacy, a highly advanced silicon-based civilization known for their complex diplomatic protocols. Their ambassador, a shimmering holographic entity composed of intricate geometric patterns, demanded immediate surrender of the alien child. The specimen represents potential biological intelligence that requires collective galactic assessment. The Kylerian transmission stated, its voice a mathematically perfect frequency that sent subtle vibrations through the station's hull. Another transmission interrupted, the Trellnox Collective, a hive mind species with expansive technological networks. Their communication was more direct, almost threatening. They claimed the child could be a potential weapon, a biological anomaly that needed immediate containment. Una's fingers danced across communication interfaces, her response precise and unwavering. This is a living being requiring medical protection. No diplomatic or strategic considerations override fundamental medical ethics. The station's defensive systems hummed to life. Quantum shields activated, creating a protective bubble around the research facility. Advanced weaponry remained passive but ready, a silent warning to potential aggressors. June monitored incoming transmission analyses. Each alien civilization was probing, testing their human resolve. Some sent complex mathematical challenges. Others transmitted intense electromagnetic signals designed to disrupt communication systems. "They're trying to break our communication network," June whispered, watching multiple cybernetic defense algorithms counteract the alien infiltration attempts. Robotic defense mechanisms began their intricate dance. Quantum-locked communication. Barriers transformed, adapting faster than any known technological system could predict. It was human unpredictability versus galactic calculation. The Trellnox vessels began generating massive energy signatures. A clear threat display meant to intimidate. Their ship designs were nightmarish, part organic, part technological, resembling massive crystalline creatures more than traditional spacecraft. But Una remained unbroken. "We will not surrender a vulnerable life form," she transmitted, her voice cutting through complex translation matrices. "Medical protection is our primary directive." Earth's diplomatic corps watched the unfolding scenario with a mixture of tension and pride. This wasn't just a medical rescue, this was a fundamental statement about human values. Alien ambassadors continued their negotiations, each transmission a complex dance of threat and diplomatic maneuvering. Some offered advanced technological exchanges, others presented increasingly aggressive demands. The research station itself became a symbol, a tiny human outpost surrounded by massive alien vessels refusing to be intimidated. Quantum communication relays captured every moment. News of this confrontation was spreading across galactic communication networks faster than light itself. Countless civilizations watched, waiting to see how this small human team would respond. June noticed something fascinating. With each diplomatic challenge, the alien child's bioluminescent patterns seemed to respond, almost as if sensing the complex negotiations happening around its fragile existence. "They don't understand," Una muttered, watching the alien vessels. "Life isn't a commodity, it's not a weapon, it's a responsibility." Her statement wasn't just a medical declaration, it was a philosophical challenge to entire galactic civilizations that had long viewed life as a strategic resource. The station's quantum shields continued their silent, powerful defense. Human innovation versus galactic technological might. Compassion versus cold calculation, and at the center of it all, a single alien child, a potential bridge between species, a symbol of something greater than diplomatic negotiations. The confrontation was just beginning. End of part 3. Would you like me to continue with the next part or make any adjustments to this section? 10 years had passed since that extraordinary moment in the research station. The alien child, now named Hai, had become more than just a medical miracle. He was a living testament to human compassion and scientific innovation. Yuna watched from across the research facility as Hai moved through advanced training modules. His body had adapted in ways no one could have predicted. Multiple sensory appendages moved with fluid grace, interpreting complex holographic interfaces that would challenge most advanced AI systems. The medical techniques developed during his rescue had revolutionized xenobiology. Hospitals across Earth and dozens of alien worlds now used the breakthrough protocols that had first saved Hai's life. What had begun as a desperate medical intervention had become a galactic medical revolution. Hai's unique physiology continued to astound researchers. His cellular structure could adapt to multiple environmental conditions almost instantaneously. Where human scientists saw limitations, he saw opportunities. His brain, if you could call it that, processed information in three-dimensional matrices. That made traditional computer systems look like primitive calculators. Fascinating, June muttered, watching Hai navigate a complex holographic combat simulation. The alien moved like liquid mercury, predicting and countering potential threats with an intuition that blended biological instinct with learned human strategy. The research facility had become more than a medical center. It was now a bridge between species, a place where biological boundaries were constantly challenged and redefined. Alien diplomatic missions now regularly visited, no longer as threatening vessels, but as scientific collaborators. The Keylerian Confederacy, which once demanded the child's surrender, now sent their top researchers to study the breakthrough medical techniques. Hai's existence challenged everything galactic civilizations understood about interspecies interaction. He spoke multiple languages simultaneously, not just verbal communication, but complex biological and technological languages that transcended traditional communication barriers. Robotic training assistants worked alongside human instructors, creating learning environments that pushed the boundaries of technological and biological potential. Each training module was a delicate dance of human creativity and alien adaptability. The child is more than a medical success, Yuna would often tell visiting researchers. He's a living bridge between civilizations. Advanced quantum computers tracked Hai's developmental progress. His cellular regeneration capabilities had improved exponentially. Where most species would see medical limitations, Hai represented unlimited potential. The galactic research community watched with a mixture of fascination and respect. Humans had done something unprecedented. They had saved a life not for strategic advantage, but out of pure compassion. Outside the research facility, massive holographic displays showed ongoing scientific collaborations. The medical techniques, developed during Hai's rescue, were now being applied to treat previously untreatable conditions across multiple species. June monitored a live feed showing a Trelnox medical team using human-developed protocols to treat a critically injured member of their own species. The irony wasn't lost on him. The very civilization that once threatened them now depended on their medical innovation. Hai moved between research modules with extraordinary grace. Part alien, part human-raised, he represented something entirely new. His multiple sensory appendages could interpret complex data streams faster than any known technological system. Communication isn't just about language, Hai would often say during his lectures. It's about understanding, about compassion. The research facility had become a beacon of hope, a place where biological differences were celebrated, not feared. Where compassion was recognized as the most advanced form of intelligence. Yuna watched her creation, not just a medical success, but a living symbol of human potential. A reminder that in the vast, complex universe, empathy could be the most powerful technology of all. The stars outside continued their eternal dance, silent witnesses to this extraordinary journey of discovery and connection. End of Part 4. Would you like me to proceed with the final part, or make any modifications to this section? The United Galactic Council chamber buzzed with anticipation. Representatives from over 50 different civilizations waited, their diverse forms a testament to the universe's extraordinary biological diversity. At the center stood Hi, no longer just a rescued alien child, but a diplomatic bridge between worlds. Holographic displays flickered with real-time translations, capturing every nuanced moment of the most significant diplomatic gathering in galactic history. Una watched from a distant observation deck, her eyes filled with a mixture of pride and wonder. Hucky's introduction was unlike any diplomatic speech in recorded history. His multiple sensory appendages moved in complex patterns simultaneously, communicating through biological signals, verbal language, and quantum-linked data streams. Where traditional diplomats spoke words, Hai communicated entire universes of understanding. "Compassion is not a weakness," he began, his voice resonating through translation matrices. "It is the most advanced form of intelligence any species can develop." The chamber fell silent. Alien representatives from silicon-based civilizations, energy form collectives, and biomechanical societies listened with unprecedented attention. Hai's unique existence challenged everything they understood about interspecies communication. Nearby, June monitored communication networks. News of this gathering was spreading across galaxies faster than light itself. This was more than a diplomatic meeting. It was a potential turning point in galactic understanding. Advanced robotic assistants moved silently around the chamber, maintaining complex environmental conditions for the diverse representatives. Each alien species required unique atmospheric conditions, temperature ranges, and communication protocols. Hay's presentation unveiled a series of medical and technological breakthroughs developed from the original techniques that saved his life. Quantum healing protocols, adaptive cellular regeneration technologies, communication systems that could bridge seemingly impossible biological differences. The Kylerian representatives, once aggressive opponents, now listened with profound respect. Their crystalline forms subtly shifted, indicating a level of emotional response rare in their species. 30 years ago, Hai continued, a single human doctor chose compassion over protocol. That moment changed everything. Una felt a subtle tear forming. This wasn't just a diplomatic speech. This was the culmination of a journey that began with a desperate medical rescue in the depths of space. Holographic displays showed revolutionary medical techniques saving lives across multiple civilizations. Planets once isolated by biological incompatibility were now connected through human-developed communication and medical technologies. The Trelnox delegation presented a collective data stream, a rare emotional display for their hive-mind civilization. They acknowledged how human compassion had transformed their understanding of interspecies cooperation. Robotic translation systems worked over time, capturing the nuanced communication happening at multiple levels simultaneously. It wasn't just about words anymore. It was about fundamental understanding. "We are not defined by our biological differences," Hai declared, "but by our capacity to understand one another." The chamber erupted in a complex symphony of communication. Biological signals, quantum data streams, holographic representations, each civilization expressing understanding in its unique language. June watched the monitors, tracking global reactions. This wasn't just a diplomatic meeting. It was a moment that would be remembered across generations. Una's original medical intervention had become something far greater. A single act of compassion had transformed galactic understanding. Outside the council chamber, massive starships from different civilizations maintained a respectful formation. Advanced sensor arrays captured every moment of this historic gathering as he concluded his speech. Something extraordinary happened. Representatives from different civilizations began spontaneously sharing biological and technological data, something unthinkable just decades earlier. The universe seemed to pause, witnessing this moment of unprecedented connection, one human doctor's compassion, one alien child's survival, a moment that would redefine what it meant to be intelligent. to be alive, to be connected. The stars outside continued their silent, eternal dance, silent witnesses to this extraordinary transformation. End of part 5. Would you like me to make any adjustments or provide any additional details about the story?